up in the corner, away from everything else.
Did it work?
I'm waiting.
Y'all tell me.
I'm just still waiting on.
My thing still says it'll begin in 2 minutes.
Mine doesn't have a countdown anymore.
Yeah, mine doesn't have a countdown anymore.
Did it work?
Yeah, I can see it.
What?
I'm waiting.
Nice!
Y'all tell me.
Oh god.
I'm just still waiting on. Cool.
Dude, we live as fuck.
My thing still says it'll begin in 2 minutes.
Oh god. Mine doesn't have a countdown anymore.
Yeah, mine doesn't have a countdown anymore.
Y'all
Did
are
it
way
work?
behind me then. Yeah, I can see it.
What?
I'm waiting.
Nice!
Y'all tell me.
Oh god. Don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it.
Alright,
We're Dendron.
yeah, I guess we'll hang out for another little bit, right? See if some people want to come.
Will
hang
we?
out.
Okay,
I don't
well,
know.
okay. So what we're gonna do here is that we're going to talk about our favorite prog albums, all of our favorite prog albums, and we're all gonna do 3. And we might, I don't know. I'm thinking that maybe we might just list off a few other good ones at the end as well, because like, why not, right?
Yeah,
It was a
Depends on how
tough
long it
choose. I did not choose my top 3 favorites. I just chose 3 that I like.
yeah,
I
me too.
really like them. That's all.
These are some of my favorites.
Because we
Yeah.
did have a no repeats rule.
Hey Jessica,
Because
welcome
we
to
There's
the
a lot of
stream.
repeats.
We all like the same one.
I can't wait to talk about it.
Yeah, Dad won that one.
I just claimed it, or reached out and got it.
Claimed it.
Yeah.
What's the order, Nathan? How are we doing this? We have an order. Do you want
there
to
is a set
you,
order.
Ryan?
No repeats.
Mine didn't like the order, but I don't.
Do you guys have the chat open? Because there's people in it.
It was Connor first, so
Yeah, I've got the live chat open.
Okay.
it was Connor first.
Oh yeah. So let's do this. We'll do 3s and then 2s and then 1s.
And then Quinn, I think.
What?
What?
Like I should start with my third
Oh.
pick.
Do I
I
start
should
now?
start with my third.
I thought I
Is
was.
that what-
I thought, but the whole thing was Ryan wanted
know
to say
who-
his after. I did mine, right?
Yeah. I want to do Scarlet after
So-
you, 'cause,
So
it's
who's
fine if
on
it doesn't work
first?
that way.
Okay, well, you know what? Dad was really. You said Ryan wants to be after Dad. Dad was really excited to do this. Dad, you should start.
There we go. Okay, I like it. Welcome. This is. So I'm gonna go with probably my favorite album of all time, which is Keziah by Protest the Hero, and I know that's another favorite of at least Nathan.
It's one of my favorite. So yes.
Nick's in the
I think
chat.
Quinn as well.
I like it too.
Hey, Nick.
Yeah.
I like it too.
I hope you're not watching the stream from the office where you're supposed to be working at 8:30 p.m.
Anyway, so Kazat, like, whenever I look at an album and I'm like trying to gauge how high I would rank it, you kind of gotta just look at the individual songs, and like, there's just so many songs on that album that I love, like Heretics and Killers, fucking Divinity Within. Hold on, I even have the track list here. Yeah.
I can tell.
No, Blindfolds Aside, She Who Murders the Skins of Guns, Turn Students to the Sea, The Divine Suicide Decay, all of those are, like, bangers in my mind, some of my favorite songs of all time. And, like, the rest of the album is also just as good. But if it has one negative side to it, it would be that, I'm gonna say it. A lot of... You know when you listen to a band and you're like, ooh, this is good, and then you listen to another song and you're like, oh, you do the same thing over and over again. It kind of has a little bit of that. It has like the same sound through the whole album. And Protest does that a lot anyway.
Yeah, I think so. Like across albums, they've mixed it up quite a bit, but I think song to song on any one album you'll feel pretty in it.
Yeah, if you show me like a 5-second snippet from Keziah, I might be able to tell you like which song it came from.
Yeah.
If it's from like one of the big singy choruses that they do.
Oh, yeah, of course, then you'd know it. But like, if it was just like a, because like that album is just ADHD. It is true. They didn't care how many beats there were. They just were like, "This is my riff. Here you go." Yeah, and it does have the big singy bits. I love it because deep down in my heart, I'm a punk kid, and that album has some serious punk vibes.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're also punk kids deep down in their hearts.
Yeah.
They just got really good at it.
Definitely. I think too. There's like a rawness to that album that you don't see with any of their other stuff because they were literally like, what were they, like 19, like 20, like around that age, and you can kind of tell it's like their first full album and it's a little
Yeah,
crusty.
so-
The production's very rough around the edges,
Ooh,
and it's got like
the
this,
production is crusty.
and it's got the whole narrative to it and everything. It all feels very, but it feels very sort of bold. Like they are very sort of risk taking on that album.
Yeah.
Those whole concept
Yeah.
album is lovely.
Yeah, I really like the lyrics.
Hmm.
I'm a big fan. I like the theme.
Also, those gang vocals the whole way through, they kill it with the gang vocals.
That's true.
Oh,
That
yeah,
album's quality
100%.
gang vocals.
It's got a lot of singy bits that you just remember.
I think it's the reason I like gang vocals at all.
That's true. I think that tracks.
Right? Like,
That's a pretty
I'm not-
good case for gang vocals.
yeah.
It-
I didn't like them before then. What can you say about that?
Really? Interesting. Okay, there you go. That's my bit about Keziah. There you go.
Jessica's
Okay.
saying, "Where are the magic tricks?" I don't know who promised magic tricks.
Ryan. It was obviously Ryan.
Ryan, why'd you promise magic tricks?
We could... There you go.
Ta-da!
Magic trick.
Oh, I'm watching
I
Delivery video.
have a magic trick. I will make this Gatorade disappear.
I have beer in a thermos.
You said you were going to talk about it.
I know I did.
So who's
Who's talking?
next? How does this work?
You could go next, Ryan. That's convenient.
Okay. Right.
Or do you want to have a buffer zone between Protest the Hero?
I don't know. What do you feel like? Do we want to get all the protests out right now? We could just wham it out.
Yeah, might as well.
Do it.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm talking about Scurrilous. This is one of my actual favorite. I can't decide favorites with anything, but this is probably actually one of my favorite albums, along with Periphery 2 and some other shit. But I picked this one to talk about because it's just so fucking good. Like, first off, this album, I think, is the inspiration for all the ways I write and play now. It definitely, I feel like Connor would agree as well. It definitely helped us get good.
Oh yeah, that's
Learning that album was so hard to play.
our guitar playing before and after is two sort of distinct things.
It's
Did you
very
learn all of that album?
Oh yeah, I can probably still
didn't
play
you?
most of it.
Yeah, I can't still play most of it, but I did learn the majority of it at a time. But yeah, I love this album so much. When this came out, or when this was coming out, like a few months before, I had never like even heard of it. And I think we started the old band, Black and the Cursed Sun, and we wanted to do a Blood Meat cover. And this is like the first time I'm ever hearing a protest. I've never played anything like this. I play like Megadeth, fucking Pantera and stuff. And then Connor and the boys are like, you should learn this song by Protest the Hero. And I don't know nothing about sweep picking or wild tapping and stuff. I just have to learn this song. And then a few months later, Scurrilous comes out, and me and Connor happen to be in Florida with our families at the same time, go to a concert, get these tab books, and now we're here.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a very good album. It's very nostalgic. It has a lot of meaning. What do I actually want to talk about? I find though, so I wanted you to talk about Keziah first because of the evolution of protest. It went from Keziah, which is very punky and like it's not what it is.
ADHD.
Yeah, ADHD. Yeah, like you said. There's just no rules. And then they go to Fortress, which is a whole other side of the spectrum, where they're being as intense as they can with like sweep picking and tapping and all this stuff. But it's very like calculated. I find like it's a lot of straight sweeps and more conventional tapping stuff. And then Scurrilous comes in, and they kind of fuse the styles of Kazaya and Fortress. You know, they take all that hard stuff from Fortress, but they break the rules like in Kazaya, and I think it just makes the most interesting kind of stuff. And this is why I picked this over Volition as well. I feel Volition is very good. Like it's kind of them perfecting what Scurrilous does, but at the same time, I still kind of like Scurrilous more.
Yeah, it's all about the songs at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's just very
Like-
it's so spicy.
Scurrilous says "C'est la vie."
I was very like Ryan, like you're saying, like I was very deeply into Scurrilous and spent a very like sort of exhausted every note of the album. But looking back on it, it's almost like for me the separator, I sort of prefer.
I have it here. It's always right here.
I prefer their other albums to listen to though. I think it just has to come with like the other ones have a bit more, especially the ones before it have more like sort of like an emotional value at all and like a sense of stakes. Scurrilous feel like the songs feel like they're a bunch of dudes. Like if it was us writing songs about our day to day, you know, like it's very it's just sort of casual.
A life in Boss.
It's almost like casual with the music.
Yeah, it's excellent. It's a great evolution. I also, and this goes for all of Protest, I love the lyrical style of that album, like, and the way Rhodey sings, like the odd phrasings and stuff. One thing I don't like, which I think they've kind of fixed this, is Rhodey being bad at writing lyrics.
Yeah.
But like in Scurrilous, before Riff left, he was still very much like you could tell when Rhodey wrote the song.
Yeah, 100%. Eric, I think it was all. I'm not sure if it was all Eric beforehand, but he definitely has a way about the way he writes lyrics. It's
Yeah.
very.
I think
distinct.
Kazaya was all a riff. I don't know if Fortress was like 100%,
I think it
but
was.
Scurrilous was definitely not 100%.
No, I think it was Sail of
Is
Eve,
Nathan-
Moonlight, and Sex Tapes, as far as I know.
Is Ryan frozen for anybody else, or is it just me?
Oh no, yeah, he's.
Yeah, Ryan's frozen for me. I wasn't sure if I should mention it.
Hey
Hopefully he's
Ryan.
not trying to say something.
I could hear him,
You can hear me?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
You sound
but he's not. He's not moving.
Yeah, you're not moving.
I was moving a lot.
Hey, you're back.
Oh, you're back.
Okay,
Cool.
Okay, so you missed.
Really
I don't know if the audience saw, but I did some sweet karate for the boys to see if they could see me.
Nice.
I didn't see any karate.
No, I'm not. I'm actually really disappointed.
That's okay. We got magic tricks.
Hopefully the crowd saw. Well, yeah, I think that's all I have to say. It was just like a very good album to kind of grow up on as a guitarist.
See, I just like C'est la vie and Moonlight and Sex Tape.
I love all of it.
The hair
Moonlight,
trigger.
I think Moonlight and what else? Moonlight and Sex Tapes are probably the biggest inspirations from this. There will be more later in this stream, but I think those are the biggest inspirations for the way I write tapping stuff now. Like in
Moonlight?
Yeah, I can see a lot of that.
Moonlight has a polyrhythm.
Does it? When?
Yeah,
What?
where?
Moonlight has a polyrhythm.
Oh yeah.
But we write polyrhythm.
We have a polyrhythm. We have. We have hands.
We got polyrhythm. Okay, you want to go to next album?
Yeah, who wants to go next?
Yeah. Who's next?
Okay,
Quinn.
I'll go next.
I thought we had an order. It's alright.
I did not choose my favorites, but I did choose ones that I like. I listened to this album today. It's called Pink Lemonade by Closure in Moscow.
Oh,
I really don't actually know much about them as a band. I looked up all their names, just for funsies, just for myself. This is a weird album. It took me a while to actually get into because there's a couple tracks that are very like short and snappy, kind of in like the style of your Protest the Heroes, or kind of like Dance Gavin Dance fused with Mars Volta. They
That's
really do not.
interesting. Yeah.
They really do not confine themselves to like a 5-piece rock band. There's a lot of synths sometimes, and sometimes synth drums, and like the whole album goes all over the place sonically to the point where it is kind of weird. Like there's not much of a through line besides the lead vocalist singing all of it.
Yeah, I remember that.
It is. It was a weird one to get into, and sometimes I do just put on the hits like Neoprene Byzantine, Seeds of Gold, and Church of the Techno Christ. Those are like the blasts, and then it's really weird. It's got really uppity tracks, and then some like really kind of trancey, atmospheric kind of interludes that go on for a long time. But I gotta respect it because it is all over the place, and I do like that a lot. It also has, it's got.
Oh, we're losing your.
Is Quinn going crazy for anybody else?
He's gone a little squirrely. Squirrely Dan.
Pink Lemon is an album.
You're back.
Do I
Closer
sound
in
sound
Moscow.
normal?
All right, you're back now. We're gone.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
here you go. Pink Lemonade is good.
It is. The lyrics are very narrative heavy. The whole thing kind of feels like a musical. It's kind of musical theatery. It is conceptual. I don't know what it's about, but that's fine. It's a
Doesn't matter.
hoot. I got into it like only like a year ago, so it is kind of fresh to me. But yeah, that's my take.
Nice.
That's all the sauce I got.
More familiar with First Temple.
Yeah, me too.
I actually haven't listened to that one much, but I
No?
know the
Oh, it's
opener.
good.
I know the opener is a blast.
It's a lot more straight shooting
Oh,
than Pink Lemonade.
I think that's
Yeah.
Yeah, that had a kind of the vibe I was talking about beforehand, where a lot of the songs sound kind of similar.
Yeah.
On First Temple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who go next? Connor or Nathan?
Oh, my turn. Oh, okay. Never mind. I forgot
Okay.
how to go. Okay, well, I chose a PM today, and it's in Medes Riz. It's a Latin name, so I'm not going to pronounce it properly. By PM today. It's a very interesting album. It's nothing like I've ever. It's nothing like I've. It's like nothing I've ever heard, and it's all over the place. It's nice and prog. Great lyrics. It's themed. The whole thing is kind of depressing, but you know, it's a great album.
Nice.
Yeah.
I actually haven't heard of these guys besides you telling us that they're one of your favorite albums, which you've said before.
They're not really popular, and they broke up like in 2011, I think. Yeah, they broke up.
Interesting.
Very
I think
short.
the first time I heard of them was that post we did a few months ago with the top 10.
Right.
I don't know if I ever even listened to them.
Are they more punk sounding? I lumped them in with all the punk bands you guys listen to.
You said post-hardcore. That's
They're post-hardcore. They're very high vocals, very shrill vocals.
Cool.
They have two vocalists, which is nice it's nice to have. There's lots of double vocals all throughout the album, so that's nice.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, they kind of sound like they have a little bit of a Closure in Moscow vibe going on.
There's a lot of diddlies, but there's some songs. There's one song that's really chill. It's Soma Holiday. It's a really chill piano song, but it still has shreddy guitar and the drums don't stop. So
cool. All about that.
Don't stop, never stop.
That's it.
I'm gonna have to actually listen to that album, I guess.
Yeah.
I want to check it out too. I'm invested.
Yeah.
There's a couple songs.
I feel like I liked it when I listened to it. I remember it having not many views at all, like 10,000 or something on YouTube. But that was a long time ago as well.
And it has great lyrics, and it's themed.
Nice.
The theme is the world kind of sucks, but still be happy.
Nice. Sounds
Nah, you
relevant.
can't still be happy.
Applies for various times.
Want to do it up, Connor?
Cool. Yeah, I suppose keep it going. So I basically just picked 3 albums where not every year, but most years there'll be one album I get obsessed with that year. So I just picked my 3 most recent of those. So this one's 2017's album. There actually wasn't one 2018 that I really attached to that much. This one's Clairvoyant by The Contortionist. I'm sure you've all heard me. I've probably made you all listen to enough of this album. You know what I mean?
Oh, Ryan's dead. No, Nathan's no, Quinn's dead.
Oh yeah, Quinn's just gone. Where'd Quinn go? Oh, I'll keep talking.
Yeah.
So like The Contortionist, for anyone who's never heard of them, they're they started in like they've been a prog band, but at first they were very like metalcore, like very heavy, a lot more metal than prog. Like the prog sort of comes out between the metal stuff, but then Intrinsic was pretty like spacey metal front to back. I still really like that album actually. Then Language was where they sort of started to soften the metal stuff in favor of being more prog. But then Clairvoyance, where you see it come sort of all the way, where at this point there's basically no screaming on this album anymore, and it's I mean, compared to those stuff, it's kind of like a soft album, kind of a soft boy record. I don't want to it's probably less technical than the other ones, but it would be a disservice to say it's not technical, because I think one of the best qualities of the album is that you kind of leave it on and let it just kind of wash over you, and it's very easy to listen to, and like mood stuff. But if you listen to it closely, you can find all the technicals, and there's like some insane rhythm stuff going on at the same time, which is pretty cool. It's also got some very intense lyrical, emotional core to it. I never realized when I was obsessed with it, but looking back on it, I think it's kind of like reflects poorly in the sense that like, man, I was really just fucking sad in 2017 for this to be my favorite album, Like, it's such a sad boy record.
It's really odd, though, because I kind of connected with that album the same way you did, but I was not super sad boy in 2017. I was fine.
So maybe it is just the merits of the album, and it's not me.
I just embraced the sad boy of the album, that's all.
Right? I
would have absolutely picked that album as one of, like, at least on my short list, but I knew you would pick it as well, and I had other shit to talk about, so I fucking love that album so much.
Deadly record.
One of my favorites. It's so good.
I've been meaning to listen to it for a long time, just haven't gotten
It's
there.
fucking excellent.
I'm not really a fan of the other stuff, I gotta say. I tried it for a little bit.
No, this is different though.
It's
I mean,
very
it's very similar.
Language had a couple of good songs, in my opinion.
Language was a nice journey.
Language is definitely a journey album.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the songs don't stand on their own very well in Language.
No, but when you get to the ebb and flow, ooh.
Yeah. Parable, like, ooh.
Mm-hmm.
And it did some really good live stuff for Language, where they're in like a living room on the couch playing it in a chill way.
Yeah, it's really cool.
That stuff's really good.
They kind of brought that back for the Clairvoyant videos, except everything's wrecked.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool, I thought. That's another thing. They have like a meta almost. Everything's all connected.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool. Like how the the Return to Earth and the Reimagined videos are in like all the same settings but different tones because of the way the story of the album goes and shit.
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah, it's about real things, right? It's about some like his friend's mom dying and then him like ending up overdosing or killing himself, something like that.
He had a friend whose mom passed away, and then he basically he got really went into a bad place, and then he passed away later on, and it was about him. I think Language was supposed to be the happy version, and Clairvoyant's supposed to be the sad version, the dark version, even though it's a less heavy record.
Yeah.
And the lyrics hit very hard with that
Ooh.
context.
Yeah.
It's wild.
You were so sick.
Yeah. But one thing is that going forward, I don't know if their next record's going to land quite as well. I'm really wondering. I'm afraid that if they continue on the same path, they're going to reach a point. Actually, I don't think we're going to talk about Leprous later, but I haven't listened to the new Leprous record, and I'm afraid they did the same thing, where they go too far with it and they stagnate basically, and the music just becomes sort of boring, and then it's all flash, you know.
All flash for substance.
They didn't
I really like that
last, but the EP is very short. It's not enough to tell.
I really like that last Leprous record though.
But the EP
new
was
one?
very good.
Molina
No, the-
owns.
Molina rips.
Yep.
I don't know. I think they can keep it fresh for a little while.
It'd be
I think
really
they're
cool.
doing good. Yeah.
They should have one out soon, I'd say.
The singer too. This newish guy, he's been fucking excellent, and he really shines on Clairvoyant and the new EP.
Who's that?
Their singer, the contortionist,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He's excellent.
he's really good.
They also got the bassist from who was in Scale the Summit now, the old one.
Oh.
Nice.
Cool.
I love that shit.
Trade players.
Nice.
What's up?
Scale the Sumped.
It's funny. Everyone who wasn't Scale the Summit, I sort of followed outward, and they're all in good prog bands now. Like that's how I found NTOs.
What happened to the rest of them?
Oh, the whole band quit because the guitarist who was the leader was kind of a jerk and didn't pay them or something like that.
Then he grew a beard, and now he's evil.
Yeah, he's evil now.
And also, the other guitarist is the Entheos guy, Travis Lavelier or something.
Oh, he's out now.
Yeah, he left. Entheos is just two people, I think.
Yeah, power
it?
couple.
Yeah,
Jeez.
cool.
What happens?
Not bad though. Destiny Potato, power couple.
True.
Spirit
Destiny
Fox,
Potato.
power couple. Entheos, power couple. It could work.
Sorted pink.
It could work.
Sorted Pink. Yeah,
Sorted
maybe
Pink.
that's- I didn't know until recently that Destiny Potato and Sorted Pink. I found out when Sorted Pink came out that was David Max and Mickey.
Yeah.
And that explains why it's so fucking wild.
Oh yeah.
Dude is nuts.
He makes weird. Like he will never put out something normal.
No, never. His the Bilo or Bilo 1, 2, and 3, they're so weird. Like he has 6 of his own EPs. 3 of them are just normal ass EPs, right, in his style. 3 of them are very experimental and more like he does a lot more post production stuff and like sampling, blah blah blah, whatever the fuck else. It's a ride.
It's whack.
It's fucking whack.
Oh, Jessica says, "What's everyone been listening to lately?" 2 minutes ago.
Lately, well, like I just said, power couples basically.
I started
I've been
getting
listening to
back
that one
into.
sort of thing song a lot. Back into Destiny Potato. Spirit Box is taking over. That's really it. That's on loop for me.
We'll get into this later, but I've listened to a fuckload of Intronaut.
Oh yeah.
Just all their records,
Yes.
all the time.
I've been
Another
listening to
one I
the.
wanna-
I've been listening to the new one a lot. It's freaking good.
It's so good. It's hard to turn off too. It's hard to the line between songs is very blurred. But
It is. I listened to the.
that's
I've
honor.
exclusively listened to the whole thing.
Yeah.
What's that?
I've exclusively listened to the whole thing. Like I've never listened to just one song or two.
That's impressive.
I've definitely listened to Cubensis on its own a handful of times, just because it was the single.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
And
that
Rudy's
song is
playthrough
a
of it.
jam.
Oh, that
Really
song
did it.
rules.
Yeah, it was so good.
Anyways, you want
Next
to
album?
keep the rotation going? Going to Dead?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we got 2
we'll
full
loop
more
it
rounds
back.
to get through.
Before
Okay.
we
Here's where I got the album that everybody was gonna put on the list if they were allowed to.
Oh no.
Maybe. when somebody asks me, if somebody came to me and was like, "Give me a 10 out of 10 album," I would be like, "I don't know if I could do that, but I got Sound Awake here by Carnival.
Oh, yeah.
That's about as close as I'm gonna give you, because the whole album is great.
Oh, it's
The whole
incredible.
thing.
It's fucked up.
Fucking perfect.
And it's
Not
not
a lot
short.
of the theme either. It's not short.
No.
No, what was it, 70 minutes long? Hold on, I have it up
Like
somewhere.
neither the album nor the songs are short, which is a crazy thing to do.
It's insane.
It's like I'm usually
Yeah,
against an
12
album being that long.
Fucking madness.
Yeah, and
Very good songs.
so many good songs. Like Dead Man, fucking love
Dead
it.
Man.
Change, fucking love it. Goliath, ooh, well, I'm a big fan of Goliath. And like, there's some songs I've listened to so much that I've almost out-listened to them. Like New Day, I almost feel like doesn't have the same oomph anymore because I wasted it.
Yeah, it's got
It's not
it's
good.
got single energy too. I think it burns out.
Too, but I think that's the only one.
I love the
Set
drum
fire
beat.
to the hive. That song
Ooh.
rips.
That one's
It does.
So good.
The beginning drum beat in Umbra. It's one of
Ooh,
my favorite
bing, bong, ba-da, ba-da.
drum beat. And also like the playing and like Set Fire to the Hive is insane. It's crazy. On the drums, I mean.
I had an experience with that album recently where I had it on, and Simple Boy, like the very beginning of the album. You ever listen to an album and it just transports you to a time and place? I was alone in a bus stop in Ottawa. Just immediately listening to it. I had not thought about this time and place in quite a long time, but then just listening to that song, I was like right there.
That's so sick.
And I was right in the groove too, just like
Simple Boy has such a groove.
the
Oh,
bass tone on that album.
That's the worst part about it sometimes, though. So I was in Dad's shed. We put on Dead Man, and I love this album so much. It was a very good album, very nostalgic, but in a very bad time. So I wasn't in a good spot for a sec. And the album came on, and I was having, like, shitty nostalgia memories, but then the song was so good, and I was, like, conflicted on whether I was feeling good about this song or not. Like, feeling good and bad at the same time.
Yeah.
it's possible.
It was I couldn't, like, bring myself to not listen to it because it's too good. But at the same time, it was bothering me.
I forgot that you have that relationship with that album, because like a time period can ruin an album. Like
Yeah, I had
100%.
to overcome a hurdle with that album. I had to force myself to like that album again. Not like it, but I guess be able to listen to it. It was crazy.
Yeah. Sound Awake rocks.
Yeah.
Good album.
Incredible
Their singer is ridiculously good.
He's so good.
He's a talented man.
I need it.
And as we talked about,
So they've been posting.
Yeah, they've been
Carnival
like
has been up to something.
their gears are moving.
I hope so.
Yeah, so the
Some
guitarist
blood
has a
stuff.
new custom PRS, I think. He did an endorsement for that. I think there was something about something from their page, or one of them said something.
When did
but
it,
looks like Carnival is coming back.
When did their last one come out? Asymmetry.
2013.
2013, I think.
They're emulating Tool through and
Probably.
through.
20...
No, don't do
That's a
it.
mistake. Don't do
I
that.
know, we all know what happens.
But like
So my next favorite album, Fear Inoculum. No.
and like I think I've said before with you guys too that like Sound Awake, I've gotten very into Asymmetry and I like what it does too, but like other albums I like for doing different stuff, even if they don't do it as well as Sound Awake. What it does is it's not super experimental, not super out. Like I think it was pretty within the prog that's existed before it, but it was just so well done. And just so great to listen to that it gets right in you.
Great songwriting.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Just, yeah, like it doesn't. It's not breaking any boundaries, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
No, it
Really
doesn't.
good
It
songs.
doesn't. It doesn't reinvent the wheel, but it's hot.
It's great.
It's a fucking sexy wheel.
Great.
Such a good-looking wheel. Next, anybody?
Next,
It's Brian, is it?
Oh, next
mine's
is
number
me.
2.
right? I'm next. Okay, so next for me is Neon by Era. This is an excellent album. I don't have a tab book for that, but I do have a tab book for Drift, which gets an honorable mention because it's fucking sick. These are basically the same album, except Neon is just like polished.
Like they're
You know what I'm
back to
saying?
back, right?
Yeah, they were back to back, and it's like Drift was them trying something new that was less metalcore than before, and then Neon was kind of the perfection of that. So I love Drift. I'm actually working on a full album cover of that.
Yep.
But
Jeez.
Era, one
You
of
got
my
the time.
favorite bands. Yeah, I got the time, absolutely.
Gross.
Now is the time to be it.
Gross.
So Era is one of my favorite bands now because, like Protest and Periphery and such, they do wacky tapping stuff. But the guitarist Jesse has his own like very unique kind of way of doing it. And like I said about Scurrilous, inspiring my new style of playing and stuff. I think Era kind of like Scurrilous kind of brought me into the world of tapping, but Era recently is more what I'm taking inspiration from when I'm writing that kind of stuff, because their tapping bits are fucking nuts. It's insanity what he does with his fingers. And the crazy part is he's also a singer. They have screams and clean vocals. The screamer is his own dude, and the clean vocals are all this lead guitar guy. So he like picks and chooses parts throughout the album to lay low and write the part for the other dude.
I don't know how people
But
do
it's
that.
insane. It's insanity. Also, see, this is the big thing about Era is that I think it's not Era I like so much, but Jesse Cash himself as one person, because the drums they're really good, but they're not that special, right? They're not crazy good. The screams are pretty much the same thing all the time. He does do a nice like less of a scream, more of like a yell sometimes during the clean parts in the back. That's really cool. But I think Jesse is the real thing that brings me to the band, because he's just so fucking diverse. Like his clean vocals themselves are really diverse while he's doing all these hard guitar parts. He's also in Ghost Atlas, where he does less crazy guitar stuff and just focuses on vocals, and it's pretty cool. Like more mellow rock metal kind of stuff.
Nice.
They're really cool. I think Nathan, you were the first person I saw listen to them, and I didn't know who they were. Then later, when I went to find that song, I found out he was in it, which is some nuts fucking universe
Is he the singer?
connectivity shit.
Of Golas?
The singer for Ghost Atlas
Is
and the singer for Era are the same guy.
because he's a fucking wicked.
Yeah.
He's so good. He's a wicked singer.
He's crazy, yeah. So he does that, right? He does that, but in a more metal style, while doing like Protest the Hero type guitar tapping stuff. It's unbelievable.
I have no idea.
No,
This.
Misty Robertoni.
It does not compute how you
another
do
really
that.
cool thing. It's weird for me to talk about like tunings being interesting, but they do
Super interesting. Super
they
interesting.
do an odd one. They do an odd one. It's A sharp. It's
I'll be
drop
back.
A sharp on a second fret. Okay, my bad.
All right, you say it's like drop A, but then tuned a half step up, isn't it?
Yeah, drop A sharp. So you're tuning your B string half step down, but the other 6 strings are going a half step up. So they're very high.
Yeah, tuning
So
up
it gives a
shouldn't be
really,
allowed.
but they do it. And you know what? Monuments does it too. I'll talk about that in a little while.
Standard tuning is the ceiling.
You would think that, but unfortunately not. I gotta find like special strings to do that album cover. But yeah, it's either the drop A sharp like that, or drop F sharp. So drop F sharp is all low, but it still gives this cool effect of they're very like in between their lows and highs. So it'll be like a groovy riff with a lot of high crazy stuff going on between, and it just makes really cool contrast within these riffs that are being played with vocals and stuff.
Yeah,
It's
cool.
just
I have noticed
it's
that.
not relevant.
It's good. I always forget too that the guitarist is the vocalist, and he does it very impressively. Just the combination.
Yeah. Now, one of my favorite live performances of them, like you can tell he's definitely on stage struggling because he sings very high. Like he's doing all this stuff. He's
I know what
doing his
that
best. It is never a perfect performance. Like he's always, missing a scatter note here and there a handful of times every song. But goddamn, is it good anyway? Like it's so good. The
Yeah,
fucking
you got the
energy.
right name.
So yeah, I think that is all I wanted to talk about with these guys. Maybe.
I've got some
Yeah, they're
messages
just really
in the
cool.
chat.
They're just fucking. They never really leave me wanting more. Like if I listen to Neon as an album, it's perfect. I don't think there's a note out of place. I don't think there's anything they missed.
Like the length
They
too. How
always
long is that album?
That album is only 42 minutes.
Nice. That's like a good album length. I'm very partial to a short album these days.
I like
Yeah,
short albums
so
because I got a short attention span.
All
Yeah.
all the albums on my list are 10 tracks and about 40 minutes.
Nice. Nice through
You
line.
can, you can really tell. You can really tell what I like to get myself into.
Shouts to Pony Boy. I got some messages in the chat here before I move on. Yeah, I'll pull that down.
Yeah, move on. Who's is it Quinn next?
I want to go through the chat real quick. Way back, Quinn was talking about the Intronaut songs being hard to tell apart, and John said, "Would you say it's like blurred lines?" I just wanted to shout that out to say, John, I don't know about that. Nick's got his picks. They're by some people I've never heard of. He doesn't listen to prog. It's my roommate, Nick.
Oh, Nick.
They're probably good, though. They're probably better than the stuff we listen to. They're probably more cultured.
Probably.
John says, what song do you sing when you wash your hands?
Yeah, I sent in
happy,
Smooth,
you know it.
Smooth by Santana featuring Rob Thomas.
I sing one of those old, like, Napalm Death joke songs where it's just, like, one note. I just, like, oh.
Just scream in my head until it's over.
I sing Crash and the Boys. I am sad, so very, very sad.
Oh, what a good song. What a good movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Wait,
Sometimes...
that was movie, right?
Yeah, that was movie.
Yes, movie.
Yes, movie!
Oh, Nick says his picks were not actually that good, but that's fine. Let's move on. I'm gonna run real quick because I liked where Dad's head was at. I'll be right back.
What's that? Oh,
Beers. I think he's. Oh, I don't know. Do I still go? I can still go.
Quinn, say your album for the.
Okay.
Album.
I'm sure Connor's heard it all before.
I'm going in reverse chronological order. I've decided. So this next one came out in 2001. It's Blackwater Park by Opeth. It's heavy as dirt, but it's also chill as dirt sometimes. When I was listening to it recently, they really explore the whole dynamic range on this thing. It's not a short album, and all the songs are long as heck, except for like two kind of folksy like interlude tracks that really give it some solid pacing, I will say. It took me a while to get into every track on it. Like the opener, Leper Affinity, and the closer, Blackwater Park, are both really strong. Around the middle, it used to slow down for me a lot, but I kind of come around on the middle tracks. That era of Opeth I'm actually less familiar with than their new stuff. Since they've gone like more chill and more prog, I've gotten more into that. I would say probably that I like their 2014 album Pale Communion more than Blackwater Park, but I wanted to represent heavier shit, I guess, with this one. And Blackwater Park is heavy as shit. The title track fucking rules the whole way through.
Oh yeah.
Like the whole album is on a certain level of quality, but the title track just fucking rips.
You're selling it.
And
it's got an excellent build up. It's got this long
It
clean
is. It's
section,
got-
and then it comes in, and he does like a 20-second long scream, and it's just like,
yeah, like it's like max level like death metal growls, and it's kind of if you like jack up the volume, it's kind of spooky. Like the production on the vocals, it's like layered, deep, like really guttural growls, and it really, I feel like it's one of the albums that really like sold me on like heavy metal screaming, like screaming vocals in general.
yeah.
I'd say Blackwater Park kind of sold me on it. Lyrically, Opeth are weird as shit. It's a lot of like folksy English. I don't understand what he's talking about a lot of the time, but it really fucking works. It's all very like old-timey poetic, kind of, but he's also like growling everything.
I always thought they were a great
It's
cabin
so-
band.
I really want to hear this now.
I'm making it out to be like kind of a stylistic mosaic, but it is very a kind of thing.
Yeah, it's got a bit of that too, where it's got sort of a uniform style through the album for sure.
That's a
Yeah.
big thing in Prague. Not a lot of. It seems like a lot of people have like a very style.
Yeah.
Style, or at least on each album has a style.
Yeah, because I think, well, the concept album is so common that I think a lot of prog artists treat each album as kind of like its own, like a single work.
Yeah, even if it's not a concept album, I think that's a common thing. I know I like to do that.
A lot of them try to evolve and do a fit. Try to throw away the sound
Yeah.
lightly.
I'd say my last thoughts on Blackwater Park. The title track gets so kind of like loud and overblown. Like after the build up, when it comes back in, it keeps rising for like another 5 minutes, and it really shouldn't work, but it really does, because all the riffs are really good. It's got like a classic prog move where it has a really big like title drop in the lyrics like near the end. I feel like it's kind of corny if you'd like took a step back and looked at it, but it all works.
Yeah, the
I don't know
sun sets
how.
forever over Blackwater Park.
Yeah, like
that's peak
it's
album.
hilariously spooky.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, that sounds good to me. I'm really that you completely. That's what I'm gonna listen to after we're done here.
Like-
Blackwater.
yeah. The whole album is kind of a wall if you were gonna try to get into the whole thing, but the
Yeah.
title track on its own,
Yeah.
you could spin that and get a taste for what the whole thing is.
It's funny that like if you had to recommend someone one Opeth album list, that'd be so difficult because they've such a range over their discography.
Yeah,
'Cause
they
I
have
know
a
the
lot
pre-
of
really heavy, and now
the-
they're.
The pre-Blackwater Park stuff even is a whole other style from that one, and then Blackwater
Yeah, I don't
Park
think-
through to like Heritage is one thing.
Yeah, they've had kind of like, I guess they've had like 3 eras that way, and I haven't even heard, I don't know if I've heard anything from pre-Blackwater Park. I've started listening to Watershed and Deliverance, and I really like Watershed.
There's like a couple tracks from those that are sort of the best ones, and you get the idea, and those are the ones they still play live. I can show you those later. It's like Night
Yeah.
in the Silent Water, fucking the one that was in the concert we just watched,
Oh, like,
Living
Demon of the
Vida
Fall.
Loca.
Demon of the Fall.
oh yeah.
And then the Still Life album, the one right before Blackwater Park, I think it's a little more conceptual, a little in between. That one might actually be good. I haven't listened to it much. I think Ned likes
Yeah.
it. Shout out to Ned. But
Shout
yeah,
out to Ned. Next
yeah.
album.
I
Yeah,
think so.
Next album.
let's keep rolling.
That'd be me, right? Yes, correct.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going with it's Enema by Tool. Everyone knows
Yeah.
Tool
Hell yeah.
should be Tool. This album, it's fantastic. Not every song is fantastic because Tool does they'll throw in
The interludes.
throw in static for 30 seconds just to.
Message to Harry Man back.
A message. Is it a message from his landlord, right? That he,
Chocolate chip trip.
it's a message from the lead singer Maynard's landlord that's played.
So on my video just glitched. I came back to hair man back.
That's all you needed to know.
That's all you need.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great names. 46 and 2,
Alright.
Stink Fist, Hooker with the Penis, Eulogy, H, capital H. That's all it is. It's a great song too.
See, and
Title
that's
track.
not to get into whether old or new Tool is better, but I think that sort of the same way with Keziah, the edginess of that is something you lose.
These are nice, like some like Stink
Oh
Fist.
yeah.
It's just a basic rock song. Like, this is a nice riff. Like, there's nothing really too complex about Stink's Fist. Like, got time signatures, of course, but it's not. They're not like crazy. But yeah.
Yeah. It had more of that '90s rock style than Lateralis or Lateralis feels like it's like it's like a really good album. And I still love it, but it feels a little bit more robotic almost.
Yeah. It's
Then-
like impartial, like it's trying to be separate from the emotions at play, sort of.
Yeah, and then 10,000 Days is a little bit more like chill and laid back and not spacey, but
And it's like
yeah.
a lot more sad stuff than Pissed Off.
Yeah, but Enema's straight up pissed off. Like the song Enema is just so it's like
Oh yeah.
This,
it's
and
fucking
also
funny.
really, for me, it's really easy to listen to. Like, I can throw it on. Like, the first songs, it starts off with Stink Fist, then straight into Eulogy, then I think it's 46 and 2 after that. So
It's
it's like
H.
after that, sorry, and then 46 and 2.
Mhm.
Or whatever. The first, like, 5 songs are fantastic.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
I can't suck its dick enough. I don't know.
Yeah. It's also one of my favorite albums. It's my favorite Tool album.
I still
That's saying
haven't
something
gotten
else,
into
too.
Tool.
Yeah, which is insane.
Yeah, listen to Enema. Listen to Enema. Like it's really listen to Enema. Listen to Eulogy. You have to listen to 2 minutes of ticking before you get to the song, and then eventually you realize that you like the ticking.
Yeah, the ticking goes away and you're like, come back.
Bring back the ticking. That's amazing.
Let's go to this next album. Come on, Connor.
So real quick, in the chat, Thomas from Pearl says, "Hi boys, watch your birds." To which all I have to say is no, you.
No. What do you think?
Watch
You think I'm a woman? I'm not watching my bird.
Yeah.
I wash my boards.
I like to have it smelly.
It's a classic Iron Man 2 reference for nobody.
I got it. I got the Iron Man 2 reference.
I did.
Good.
He has Suppression, the third one. What is that? That's the one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's the one. Yep. Anyway, so my next album. So this one was my album last year that I got obsessed with. This one's the new Baroness record, Gold and Grey.
Does that have?
How do I describe it? What's that? Sorry.
Oh, never mind. Go ahead.
It's I was almost
How do you
hesitant to
describe it?
list it because it's not particularly prog. I don't think it's more of just like It's not even very metal either. Like it's just sort of a loud rock metal album. But I think what separates it is sort of this. It has this like attention to detail to it, where it's similar to Clairvoyant, but in its own way. You can listen to it sort of at a shallow level, and it's very rewarding on that listen. But then every time you listen to it, there's these details that you're finding, and there's a sort of an attention detail to the songwriting and the layers going on that I think is pretty excellent. I went in very deep with the record.
When you look at prog, like there's only a few traits. I think it's like you use weird time signatures. You probably have like unconventional song structures, and then the only other thing that I can really think of is like just attention to detail, like the layers.
And that's
you're
sort
trying
of
really hard.
when I start reaching out to other genres, I think that's the hook that I try to latch onto the most. Where you don't necessarily find weird time signatures in other genres, and that doesn't matter. But you'll find in every genre there's people with that attention to detail, and when you find that, it's you're sort of in it.
Yeah, for sure.
Pup does weird time signatures.
Nice.
Yay, Pup! If you're here, Thomas. Yeah.
There's one song on this record that's in lots of fives, or like not even 5/4, but like 4/4, but for 5 measures, sort of thing. Other than that,
Weird.
it's pretty. I think it's pretty straightforward, theory-wise, but it's very
I was
excellent album.
every time I listen to Golden Gray, I get all the way through and I love it a little bit more.
Exactly.
Like, it's growing on me. It's hard for me to even like pick out highlights. Like, I know I like how the opening riff kicks in, like the opening track kicks in and it comes in hot, and I like Tourniquet, and I also like the closer because of how like weird it is.
The closer's a really good weird track. It's just like a bunch of layers and vocals doing like these drawn out like whole notes over everything, just and then just
Yeah.
this pretty simple bass and drum groove under it, which can summarize a lot of the record. It's just this, because I think what does it, maybe part of what does it for me and is an easy sell for me, is just the solid rhythm section where the drummer and bassist are locked in. They're doing interesting stuff the whole way through. This
Yeah.
album also has a lot of interludes. It's sort of the only album besides Enema I can think of where there's interludes for almost every track. They're not as absurd or goofy, but there's a lot of interludes in this record too.
Yeah, none of the interludes on Golden Gray like stand out for me, but they give the album a really good sense of pace, and like it makes you feel like you're getting through it in a way that's interesting, because it doesn't feel like a long record, but it also doesn't feel very short. I have no idea how long it actually is.
Yeah, definitely. The other interesting thing about it too, I
listen to
think.
more Blue.
So you've listened to Blue?
Blue. Yeah.
Yeah, Blue record owns. That's a really good like. That was their second one. Their first one was sort of just metal, but that one was sort of the nice balance where it's metal, but it's got the energy to it.
It's definitely energy.
I'm really into
Yeah,
Blue.
it's good. I've listened to Golden Gray too, but only like a couple of times.
Golden
I remember
Gray's
being
the most
good.
heady one, I think, for sure.
I'm not sure if that's the album I've listened to. Like, I can't remember. I only know, like, Worn Up the House is one song.
Oh yeah, I think the one you got really into was Yellow and Green, the other double one.
Yeah.
Yellow and Green
Yellow
and Green
and-
is excellent too. It's like Yellow and Green is like all bangers.
They have such interesting artwork.
Yeah,
For their
that's
albums.
the
They really
singer
do.
guitarist does all of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's wild.
That's cool. Yeah.
He seems like a
There's a
very
style. It has a thing going on.
Pretty crazy too. The music video for the single off of Golden Gray, whichever song that is, I can't remember.
borderline
That video is fucking.
or the Tourniquet.
I think it's the Tourniquet video.
Yeah, those videos are good.
Yeah, those are really good. I don't know if he does those too, but they're fucking crazy, like trippy shit.
The one other thing I'll mention about the record is, I was looking at like some reviews and what other people were saying when it came out, just out of curiosity, and a lot of people were really hard on the production on the record. And I can see it's very easy to see where they're coming from because the production is like it's made to be very sort of lo-fi in a way, but then everything's also cranked up to the point where it's distorting in a lot of sections, and then it's like hard to hear some parts stand out in the mix, and it all sort of goes together. But I don't know, listening to the record a lot and getting into it, I think it sort of helps. It gives it like it's sort of like just a creative quality, you know? It's like an artistic decision to do this because like they have this producer that he's had for 2 records now, and he's not a metal guy. He's like a psychedelic rock guy. So it's very clearly intentional. It's not like he's like, you know, doesn't know what he's doing and he cranked everything up too loud. It's very clearly an intent behind
Yeah.
it. And I think
Yeah.
by making the album a little more sort of distorted, a little harder to hear the specifics, it's sort of, I don't know, there's something about it that elevates it, I think, for me. It's pretty cool.
Okay. Next album. I
The
guess.
last,
Yeah,
this is
on
the
the
last
next one.
round.
Shout out to Soda Pop.
Oh yeah, we're on the last round. Okay, this is my third and final pick. Here we go. I stole Periphery from Ryan, and I'm gonna go
I think
with.
not really. In a way.
No, I didn't steal it from you. You gave it to me. You gifted it to me.
Are you doing Periphery too, or are you doing Juggernaut?
Oh no, I'm doing Juggernaut.
Of
Okay,
course.
yeah, so I'm doing Juggernaut. I'm not picking Alpha. I'm not picking Omega. I'm going Juggernaut as a whole. I don't care if you don't like it.
It's very clear. Juggernaut is not my favorite Periphery album. It's Periphery 2, the best one.
Let's
Go on.
Yeah.
Let's get Dad to say his
Ryan,
piece, and
what
we'll talk
about-
about we'll talk about the schism of Periphery albums after Dad Had this bit.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Give me my bit, and then we'll have it out over Periphery. So I friggin' love Alpha and Omega, and it has this special place in my heart because that was like my first work term in engineering, and I remember so distinctly Nathan showing me. I think it was Priestess. It was Priestess. And me being like, okay, this is the first time I've heard something by Periphery that I've actually I've enjoyed. So then I very slowly got into the album, and I made my way through it. And then at the end, it was just like I remember for months and months I was just in this huge Periphery zone, and there's just so it's so thematic and it's so big and it's.
I remember
Got so many good tracks.
I remember being in the zone with you for a lot of this as well. So this album is also very I don't listen to it much anymore, but anytime I hear it, I know it's a banger.
Me either. Sometimes I'll do a full dive through it. I'll just one day throw on one and then do the other because it's a ride. But it just has that's so many good tracks. It has Alpha and Omega.
Those are two good tracks on the album.
Those are both two very good tracks, yeah. And then Stranger Things is probably my favorite Periphery song, if I'm gonna be honest.
To be fair, most of the tracks are good.
I'll say this: Alpha is one of my favorite Periphery songs. The little synth melody at the beginning, and then later on in the chorus or whatever. Oh my god, it's so good.
And Ryan, I think you told me that. Because when I was just starting to do my dive in, I was listening to Omega and talking about how the big chorusy part was so good. The stop bleeding on the inside. And then you were like, have you listened to Alpha? And I was like,
yeah, that's from Alpha.
You know when that was? That was one of the first Dendron jams with Ryan.
Yeah, that was in Nathan's basement. Yeah, I remember.
That was we had just done the EP, and then we were getting Ryan in to try to do some gigs early on before we actually got together and started gigging.
For real.
Good times.
Right.
But that was quite a while after the album came out. That was that was a year or two after.
Was it?
Man.
Yeah, Ryan was
No,
late.
it wouldn't have been that time then, because this was 2015.
Okay, this was a bit earlier then.
Yeah, but it was definitely in Nathan's basement, and Ryan was definitely there. So yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Anyway, 22 Faces, what a track. Psychosphere, what a track.
Oh,
The Bad Thing?
22 Faces, ridiculous.
It has such a good chorus.
Rainbow Infinity. It's a great song. Stand-up track.
Juggernaut almost gives me in a good way, Marvel movie energy, Avengers energy, where it's just huge scale, but a huge amount of polish, and everything's in your face, and it feels like it'd all be very saturated colors and things popping at you if you were to watch Juggernaut.
Definitely. I could see myself watching Juggernaut.
100%.
Yeah, and it has the occasional callbacks, like the elevator music riff.
That's Prague.
Yeah. You know,
That's
the
a problem.
so funny.
Should we move on to down? Because it's going long.
Yeah, I'm done.
All right, before we move on to the next one, so my thing about Juggernaut, I love Juggernaut. It's fun. I don't hate Juggernaut, but I kind of glossed over it when it came out. You know? It was it just wasn't Alpha. I loved Alpha and Priestess and a few other tracks, but it wasn't it didn't hit me the same as Periphery 2. And the reason it gets some shit from me is that Periphery 3 did hit me the way Periphery 2 did, but Juggernaut didn't. So it felt to me like Juggernaut was the middle child that I need to just kind of brush away now.
Ignore.
It's a big point of contention between all of us, right?
Yeah.
Me and Ryan. I don't know where Quinn stands.
We all have Periphery takes, and they're all very aggressive.
Yeah, I think it definitely has a lot to do with the time in your life when the album comes. So, for me and Ryan, Quinn, I don't know where you land on this. Periphery 2 was that summer. That was summer 2012. That was high school, getting the band going, getting our driver's license, so we're driving around. That was a classic summer album for us.
Yeah.
Periphery
That
2 is
was like
absolutely a summer album.
you're gaining freedom as a human. You're fucking. We're getting better at music. We're doing more stuff. You know, you're developing and shit. And this album comes out in the summer, and it's just first summer with a license. Yeah, it was wild.
Oh yeah.
And the thing is that Periphery 3 was the same kind of deal. Periphery 3 came at another one of those summers for me. Juggernaut, however, came in a time where I didn't really care about music for a while. And I think that has a lot to do with it. It's like Alpha and Priestess and some others hooked me, but I didn't care enough to be diving deep on it. So I never got to have the same interest as you and Nathan.
Love it. Periphery 2 is good.
It's the best one.
2 is good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, sure. You know what, Ryan? How about you just go give us your next pick?
Hail Stan is
Okay.
also very good.
So-
I think Hail Stan is like Sound Awake, where they executed very well on that one. Whether it's our favorite.
Hailstand is really strong.
Yeah.
Hailstand is something else. I really like Reptile. I think that might be my favorite song.
I like how on Periphery 3 and 4 there are like certain parts that are. It feels like they literally took the time period and feeling of Periphery 1 and just edited it into the song.
Yeah.
Like Absalom, I think, has a very Periphery 1 part. There's a solid handful. I think Reptile and Satellites both have parts that are very P1. But anyway, P1 is absolutely not my favorite pick. And I wish Jason was here to argue with me about it. That's fine. So my last pick is Phronesis Francis by Monuments. I
That
don't
was
know how to
great.
save the album.
That'll make it really easy for me to look up later. Francis
You know,
Monuments.
I think it's pronounced Phronesis.
Yeah,
know.
something like that.
Phronesis. I don't know. So this album is great. Monuments is great. And I had a hard time choosing between this one and Amanuensis. Every Monuments name is horrible, just so you know. So I had a hard time choosing between those two because they're very similar. Like Amanuensis is them coming into their style and all, but the thing, I feel like Amanuensis is a lot more metal and instrument based, whereas Phronesis comes in a lot more about the vocals. And the song structure changes a lot to let Chris Beretta do a lot more. And the addition of Chris Beretta in Amanuensis kind of gave a really catchy and poppy kind of vibe that Phronesis has kind of honed and like mastered. So they've hauled everything back a bit and pushed Chris to the top. Now Chris Beretta is gone. He's been replaced with Andy Cizek, and I was skeptical about that. But the one single that came out with Animus was very fucking good.
Yeah,
so I'm not too worried.
That song bangs.
The band itself, the band is so stacked. John Brown and Ollie Steele on guitars, insane. Ollie Steele's fucking like tasty little solos are unreal. John Brown's rhythm and just the way he plays in general, unreal. Before I shaved my head, he looked like me. Unreal.
Yeah,
Really
sure.
good.
I can't believe the two of them are allowed in the same band.
It's crazy. It's insane. But along with that, you have the bassist, who I will be honest, I'm looking up his name now because I don't know him as well, Adam Swan. But I should know him because he is fucking nuts.
Yep.
The bass hits so hard on every album. The bass is always like just donking, even if it's the same thing as the guitar. They really like hit it with the tone on the bass. It sounds so fucking excellent, and it brings a heaviness to it that it really wants. But so Phronesis for me is, I think, my top pick because it has that poppy, like catchy kind of stuff, while still being super metal. Has the crazy like I want to say crazy tapping parts, but John Brown kind of does it a lot differently, where it's always like a rhythmic thing and then some shit thrown in around like nonsensically. I'll talk about tunings again now because he does a really odd one where it's I think the normal 6 strings, your E to E, is tuned to like I think it's like F A sharp D F A sharp D, and then the low B string is tuned to A sharp. So you have a lot of octaves going on, and a lot of his riffs are just like he'll play a chord thing, and then not even move, just go down to the higher strings, same notes, and do the same thing in like a tapping orientation, and that's how he writes most of it. I watched a master class he did, and it's really easy to write monument stuff. It's not that hard. He really spoiled the secret.
You can't spoil your secret.
I do think he has a general taste and a direction that his notes go in that can't really be copied. You know, he's still the fucking master of it.
He's
also
also the
very
strongest
good.
right hand in the game by a mile.
But I was just about to say that he's big on the right hand thing. He does the Master of Puppets challenge, but I think it I think it introduces a lot of interesting rhythms because he's done like right hand videos where you'll see his like non-compulsory write down with all the ghost notes and stuff. Look at these. But it looks crazy with all the fucking ghost notes. It's like fucking. It's fucking nuts.
Gross.
Really cool. Along with this, something he did do in Amanuensis more than previous albums that he's doing a lot in this and his solo stuff, Flux Conduct, is in sort of like a metalcore style. He'll throw in like these cool, simple tapping melodies under where the chorus would be, but they're very low in the mix. They're very like just in the back of your ear, and then there's this epic clean vocal thing going on, and it's so fucking cool. And he does it so much on this album, and it's just it always hits me so hard. What else? I think that might be it.
I feel like I kind of bounced off Phronesis, and I didn't really know why, but now that you're explaining it, I think I do, because it must be that like the change in songwriting to give more space to Chris Barretto, I think would be the kind of thing where I would lose my attention on it.
Yeah.
But it's good to work for you though. Amanuensis slaps though.
It is so good. It was hard to not talk about that album because that has so many good, like Samsara and
The Alchemist.
The Alchemist, the Garden of fucking Shangri-La or whatever bullshit.
I the
Creator. Oh my, like there's so many excellent songs and some really cool effects. Like they had the throat singing.
Yeah, that's right.
The throat singing song. Saga City, I think.
Yeah, they had throat singing in Prague. I forgot about that.
It was insane. The first listen to that album was crazy.
I wonder where they get all that like Eastern influence stuff in their music. I don't know if he's just doing it or if he has some knowledge.
I'm not sure.
I think all he steals is from like.
Yeah, but I don't think
South Africa or something.
they're not white. So that's I think some of them are.
Quinn, is it your turn to say an album?
I think so. So we're all very much into the contemporary prog boys. We certainly are. But I've been going in reverse chronological order from 2014 to 2001, and now all the way back to 1974 with King Crimson's album Red, which is weird as shit, but also cool as fuck.
Absolutely.
The production on this album is very dictated by the Mellotron. It's very like it sounds old. It sounds old almost in like an intentional way. It sounds like it sounds vintage on purpose, except it is actually old as shit. And
yeah, the Mellotron's it's like a sepia photo as an instrument.
Yeah, it really is.
Is it the 21st century? That thing?
Oh no,
is that where that comes from?
That's in the Court of the Crimson King. That would have been a much easier pick, but I think Red Red might be a stronger album for me. The only track that I kind of lose attention on is Providence because it's like an improvised atmospheric jam. It's not like an active jam improvised song. It's like a kind of, it almost sounds like they're tuning their instruments, but they left the mic on. But to be honest, they're weird as shit. I might just not get it as a track.
Yeah, they have a lot of improv stuff, which blows my brain. How you do prog? Like, I think of prog as thoughtful and time-consuming, but they just make it up on the spot.
Oh no, I've lost it.
You can do it if you just don't care.
Well, it's like art, paintings and stuff. Some of it takes a lot of time. Some of it's just flicking shit around.
That's
Which
true.
one's gonna be
You're very right.
Yeah,
And you
so like
never know.
Providence would be my one low
You never
point,
know which one's gonna be a masterpiece.
but the rest of the album is all highlights. Like the opener is, I think, all instrumental, but it's a real jam. One More Red Nightmare and Fallen Angel have these really great choruses that are, it's weird as hell, and it's weird that they're catchy, but it really works.
Yeah.
Robert Fripp's vocals are,
Oh, he's not doing it's
Hey.
John Wetton on that record.
oh, John Wetton on vocals.
Yeah, the
Oh, I
bassist.
boofed it.
Ooh.
I think Robert Fripp only ever plays guitar, but he's the man.
Someone
for the
didn't do
King
his
Crimson.
homework.
But yeah, like all three of them really pulling the whole thing together because it does. It's especially on the closing track, Starless, which is like a huge track. It's crazy that it's just three of them holding this whole thing together.
Dude, Starless is like all prog afterwards is informed by Starless. Like it's all there, straight up.
Yeah, Starless
Now-
is kind of
Ooh, bold
it's-
claim.
It's probably
To
King
make,
Crimson's
like-
best track and one of the best
make,
prog
like,
tracks.
yeah, to make like kind of like a contemporary analogy, Starless is kind of like a reverse Reptile in the sense that it feels like you listen to Red or you listen to Hail Stan, and then separate from that you have the Reptile EP or the Starless EP, which is just this one track that completely controls the whole rest of the record. I love the song structure on Starless because it's like two songs glued together that have nothing to do with each other.
We've never done anything like that.
The opening is this really cool, spooky, this real moody thing. It's got a great chorus. The guitar tone sounds like a sad laser. That's the only way I can think to describe it. But I absolutely love the tone, and he's playing these just haunting beats. It's freaking sick.
Quinn's
And then the
dying.
whole second half. Am I dying?
You're back.
Yeah,
You came back.
Okay.
Fine.
Okay. The whole second half of Starless is this total like descent into madness, and it rips. And where I think a lesser band would come back with the whole chorus after a long break, they do have like an instrumental callback that's really gratifying, but they don't do like a full return to the first half of the song, which is a pretty random and specific detail to point out, but I really like it.
I like that. Quinn, everyone, you've been selling me on all of your picks.
Good picks.
Red and Blackwater Park, like, it's easy to recommend the whole album, but it's even easier to recommend the closing track, because they're both huge and they both completely like surmise the whole rest of the record.
I think you nailed it though when you talked about One More Red Nightmare and Fallen Angel and Starless. Is that the talent on the record is the ability to switch between a normal pretty sounding song and just fucking chaos, and they can switch between, but it's also and it feels weird when it's doing the pretty thing. It's like, this sounds pretty, but you feel weird about it, and then you go back to the chaotic thing, and it also works.
Yeah, it all goes together weirdly well. In a
I
way.
need to listen to
Also, the
it.
drumming. Their drummer, Bill Bruford, on that album, is some of the most insane drumming I've listened to. Like, the same way Starless is, everything's there. All of modern prog drumming is there in Bill Bruford's playing. He does some crazy shit.
It's another bold claim. I need to listen. to it.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
haven't listened
it's
to enough King Crimson, but everything I've heard was really good.
I haven't
like
listened
weird,
to
hard, like Discipline.
Discipline
I watched
is
Connor Trouble.
Discipline is fucking weird.
It was.
I haven't gotten into as much King Crimson as Connor has, but like, and I know they have like highs and lows in their career and their discography, but like, in the Court of the Crimson King is an easy high. Red is also an easy high. But man, totally rules.
Yeah, their albums are like a minefield. They go even more just everywhere on their, because what they used to do is Robert Fripp would get a band together, King Crimson. They do like 3 albums in 2 years or something, and then he'd break the band up. And then a few years later, he'd be like, new band, new members. This is King Crimson, whole new sound. They'll do a few records in a couple years, and then he breaks it up again. So there's all these eras, and there's this insane amount of members and styles going through the band.
Yeah,
That's so weird.
I know. Like the earlier you get in King Crimson, the kind of safer it is to listen to.
Yeah.
In terms of like it's like sonically they incorporate less like weird sounds.
Sanic.
But yeah, that's my last pick. I'm done.
I know what Nathan's last pick is, and I'm excited.
So my last pick is also a very underground, I would say. Want to use that word? Underground. Not very popular. It would be Alan Colonel by Stolas,
Yeah.
which they're from Las Vegas, apparently. I didn't find that out, like, shortly.
Yeah, that was their
Or
whole
streaming.
scene. I think the whole Dance Gavin Dance scene is Las Vegas based, as far as I know.
Is it? Oh, I think I've been over this.
Dance Gavin Dance, Icarus the Owl. There's a bunch of other people on the same record label. But they're all kind of in the same genre. Like
Swancore.
prog nonsense. But this album
Swancore.
Swancore,
Swancore.
baby.
This album's just
It's all the same, but it's all different. How do you explain it?
Gavin Core.
It is all very. Dance Gavin Dance is the shimmeriest of all of them. Anyway, go ahead.
It's just a fantastic album. It has so many good songs. It has a Claw Point, which I know most everyone here loves. On Claw Point. It really just, there's one part that just kind of like it feels like you're on the edge of a mountain, but like I don't know. It's hard to describe. Like it really just like for me, like it's a feeling in your chest. I don't know. It's a
Yeah,
great song.
definitely.
And Proving Grounds. It's another great song. Solaner.
Solunar?
Another, like
I
there's
don't
some
know.
songs that I don't know. Some of my two favorite are Hyrith and Losing Wings. They're more simpler songs. They're more like singy songs and less like nonsense and shreddy guitar and screaming. More just like first chorus, singy songs, but so good.
Is Losing Wings number 9?
Yeah, I think. One's about one's like about mountains. When the mountains have nowhere to hide or something very strange there. It's also a concept album. The concept is very. Concept it's about two people. It's about a tribe, and how fancy you are in the tribe is dependent on how many feathers you have. And these two people steal feathers and then run away, and there's like a whole.
Yeah, it's number 9.
And there's a whole like. Yeah, it tells a
Yeah.
story for you.
It's got a weird story. Yeah, like girls escaping from like some sort of village. Yeah.
I never knew
Feathers.
anything about the story. I just heard it was a concept record, and I just, without knowing any of the details, I just appreciated how well it flowed as a record. Like, it is excellent.
They do frantic very well. Like there's like one part of the story where like these girls get attacked by like a tiger, and it's like they do frantic very well. And they also do,
Plan.
yeah. I don't know. It's a good song. Good album. Good song. It's a good album.
Yeah, it's an excellent
It's
album.
got Claw Point.
Claw Point.
Claw Point.
Claw
The-
Point. Everyone should listen to Claw Point. And Proving.
When I think of perfect songs, Claw Point comes to mind. Stranger Things comes to mind. Those songs both have like such an interesting, unique flow to them that
We'll have to do one for
just perfect
songs.
in every way. Every part is beautiful. Like it flows just perfectly. Yeah.
One for songs. That'd be interesting.
Eden by
It's-
Tesseract.
That's a good point, Connor, because every one of these songs in themselves take
Oh my
there's
god.
so many layers and take so much.
Yeah, Album
Yeah.
Eternal's really good for it. And just the songwriting is just incredible.
That solo in Proving Grounds makes me a happy boy.
And the final track, I think it's called Home Eternal.
Oh,
Yeah.
Allokinetic, the last one.
Allokinetic. Yeah,
Oh,
so
that one.
It's a
That's
journey.
a crazy song.
It goes. Yeah, it's crazy. It takes you everywhere. And
It's
just
got
so
the stakes. The stakes are so high.
It goes really high. Yeah, it's yeah. Great album.
Yeah.
Next album.
Also one of my favorite albums.
Yeah, it's just I would recommend everyone listen to that album. Like you will love it.
Connor, let's finish us off.
Oh shit! Right,
Yeah,
last one. Okay. Yeah, this is my this year record. It's only been out about a month, but I'm fucking obsessed with it. Right, we talked about it earlier. Intronaut. So I became aware of Intronaut like years and years ago, like probably 2013, 14. And their most recent album at that point was the Habitual Levitations album, which was their chill one. Like weirdly chill in their catalog. So I was into that. But like I was kind of curiously like, huh, that's kind of cool. Then they did their second most recent one, Direction of Last Things, in 2015, I think. And that one I didn't even pay attention to it for years. I was just like, I just didn't take the time. But then like a couple years ago, I think maybe 2 years ago, I finally got into it and I was like, oh shit, like there's some shit here with this band Intronaut. And I've been worked my way through all their albums since then, and it's just back-to-back insanely good records. So their new one is out. It's called Fluid Existential Inversions, which is their dumbass way of saying
That's prog.
shit's fucking weird. Fluid Existential Inversions.
Dude,
And they
that's
said they're
prog
like,
as hell.
we're writing an album about how weird shit's been these days. And it's just, how do I even go? So Intronaut, I think the thing first and foremost that just like captivates me with Intronaut is definitely the rhythmic stuff. So just their former drummer, who is on all their albums up to this one, and then Alex Rudinger on this new one. Just insane
Rudy.
drummers doing all this rhythmic bullshit. Their bassist, who plays fretless and really fucking makes it work.
Oh, that's a mistake.
Yeah, I watched a gear video once where the bassist was talking about his rig, and he said, yeah, I play fretless, so every single component in my rig, from like pedals to amp, is to try to boost my tone and make me heard with the guitarist because it's a fretless bass, and this is kind of a mistake. And so like it's another one of these bands too where I find the rhythm section so intense that the guitarists kind of hold back a bit, and the guitar is not very, well, on some of the heavy stuff it can go a little wild, but I think the guitar stuff's a little more subdued to make room for all the insane rhythms. And then just they're so good at just like kind of they can just, hit you with some insane shit. They can put you in a trance with these long repetitive sections where it's long, it's repeating, but the rhythm's just complex enough, or it's like a polyrhythmic thing that's revolving around, and it's sort of, you kind of get lost in it over a period of time. That's sort of something that Intronaut does that I've yet to find any other band that does anything really quite like that.
Until you hear the trance song. Whoa.
So you listen to the new Dendron album.
Yeah, I said this to Ryan one day. Intronaut is definitely the band that inspired me or the band that made me feel okay with taking the fucking risk on some of these polyrhythms. Like, to say, oh, this long section that doesn't make sense. Few people will follow this when they listen to it, but Intronaut does it, so there's got to be someone out
Intronaut
there.
will like it.
Yeah, I mean, as long as if no one on this province likes the song, at least Intronaut might like it.
Yeah.
They're just not afraid of that sort of thing,
Great.
The trance song is mild. Trance song is good. It's been interesting trying to write with it, because especially that second bass riff, it doesn't even feel like it's a polyrhythm. It just feels like a bass part, like you're letting the bass kind of freestyle a little bit.
Well,
That's the
I mean
best
that part's
polyrhythm.
4/4.
That's what we want.
Yeah, that's probably why it feels so normal, and then the
Yeah.
5 underneath it is, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one to see come together.
Yeah. Other
Yeah.
albums. Anybody want to? Okay, you want to just throw out albums that are also good?
Tesseract 1.
Tesseract,
Right,
that's all I'm
two.
gonna say.
Classic album.
2. Fucking Fortress by Protest the Hero.
Mm-hmm.
That's my
Everything
second
by
favorite
Protest the
Protest.
Hero. Fuck it.
Everything
No,
by
not
Carnival.
the EP thing.
Oh,
Everything
and-
by Samata. Samata. Ace.
Thamada. I always I've forgotten about them. I haven't thought about Thamada in so long. It's kind of a shame
a good album.
because yeah, it's just so much less prog than like. I'm not saying that prog is good, but it's just so much more safe than the other ones. Even though it slaps like Sound Awake, it executes it nearly perfectly. So, Thamada.
Yeah.
I had something to say, but then my floor was fucked, and now it's gone.
I'm pretty tapped out, so.
I'm
Yeah, we
also
can
pretty
wrap it up.
tapped out. I dug this though.
Oh.
This was a hoot.
Auras. I was on my short list. There was Auras, Binary Garden. That album is so fucking sick.
Yeah, Binary Garden, Dad.
It is a garden, or it isn't. It isn't a garden. Just.
Amazing album. Auras is from Ontario, maybe, I think, something like that. They're so fucking good. I can't get enough. They did an EP that I don't like, actually, and then they did an album called Helio Spectrum, which I fucking love. And then they did Binary Garden last year, I think, and it's fucking amazing. It's just very like heavy, I guess, genty, a lot of effects and like shit going on, a lot of like post-production stuff happening all the time. Very, very good. Gets you into a trance, very like heavy hitting kind of sound.
Nice. So,
Great.
I guess they're
Yeah.
probably gonna call it here then, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been like over an hour. We've entertained these folks for long enough. These no folks. Who's here? Is anyone even here?
We did have some numbers. I think it's gone down now. Yeah, I think it's just us now. That's fine. We'll put the VOD up. People can watch it later, maybe.
Yeah,
It's
dude.
too long. It's too long. It took us too long.
That's fine. This is like
I mean, it's not
it's an hour and a
like-
half. It's a good podcast length.
That is good.
I think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's good for something we don't do ever.
Yeah.
This is the first of maybe we might do other things like this.
Yeah.
Oh, Jessica's still here.
I feel like we should do like
We'll
a
do.
Oh, Jessica's still there. Nice.
Jessica's the only one still here.
Jessica.
We'll do like next time. We'll do
Our
like
only
a top
fan.
three non-prog albums.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be good.
Jessica.
Top 3 90s pop albums.
That could really go somewhere though if we did not prog. I don't
Can
even
we
know
do
what I
top 3 90s pop albums?
Oh shit, Nathan dipped.
What pop albums? We don't have to do pop albums. I got plenty of non-prog albums that I real like.
No,
Oh, one of my-
specifically 90s pop. 90s
One of my earbuds has died.
Live in La Vida Loca. I vote for it, and I will extend it to a full album of 10 Live in La Vida Locas.
Maybe to look at 10-hour loop.
For rest and relaxation.
All right,
Yeah. Let's get this thing done.
let's close her up.
Yeah. All right. See you guys.